What's up everybody, Farls here. We are back with a new video to show you the Gauntlet player rewards, talk about the value, talk about some of the guys to select. So if you've done the rookie Gauntlet, you know that Vita Vea was a very popular choice for his position. Great strength-based defensive tackle is going to be on your team for a long time. Now the other position, a lot of people went with Baker. Some people went with DJ Moore, who's a real solid receiver. Real good across the board, does a little bit of everything. Or if you needed the same thing on defense, people went with Jair Alexander, who has great athleticism. Doesn't have top-end zone skills, but does have that athletic ability to be in your lineup for a long time. Those were, Vea was easily the #1 choice. Then it was kind of more if you needed offense, or Alexander for defense. Or Baker if you really wanted a QB. That's electric. But we'll get to that. The Gauntlet, though, is back, and it has veteran players as your options. There's 5 guys, and we're going to break them down. There's some key notes to talk about here, so let me know in the comments if we mess it up. First thing to understand, Jason Kelce currently the only player in this that has a power-up ability. However, Kelce is one of my least favorites in this group, and we'll talk about why shortly. So, a couple things to look at. For a player like Lamar Miller, who's a halfback, I do think a lot of you guys have a halfback that's pretty close to what Lamar Miller brings to the table. Whether you did the Saquon Barkley, whether you're using a LaShawn McCoy campaign, you've probably got a halfback that can catch out of the backfield and is pretty speedy like this Lamar Miller is. So I do like this Lamar Miller. I think he's good. If you don't end up going with him, you can get this Barry Sanders for $140K, who has pretty much the same stats as Lamar Miller from a speed, agility, and elusive perspective. Otherwise, to go, up, his other comparisons are $300K. So you're really saving $140K if you pick Lamar Miller as your guy if you don't already have a halfback. But there's nothing wrong with the item. It's a very good item. But you're saving yourself $140K. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about this. Now with a player like Brian Orakpo, what he brings to the table is great strength and great power move. So you want to see a player who is at 90 power move, and you can probably get him there with some of your chemistry. Now, he's a little bit slower, and his block shed, normally Brian Orakpo has great block shed, but this one does not. So we just said that Barry Sanders costs $140K. Now, Lawrence Taylor, who's very similar to Brian Orakpo in strength and power move, has 10 better block shed and is faster for $140K. So whereas Barry Sanders and Lamar Miller were the same for the same cost, you're getting much better Lawrence Taylor for $140K. So if you don't pick Orakpo, you're getting basically 140,000 coin value that you're saving by not having to buy Lawrence Taylor, but he's not equal to Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor's better, and I'd rather have Lawrence Taylor, so I pass on Orakpo as a pass rusher and edge setting defender. Normally I do like this position. He's rock solid. If you need him, you need him, but I think we can do better than Brian Orakpo at the position, so I would pass on him. Now, as we look at the center position, that's where Jason Kelce comes to the table. And this is where I think Travis Frederick is far better than Jason Kelce. So as we look at Kelce, he only has 82 strength. And what I think is he's going to be beefed up with guys like Vita Vea, who we just showed below, who's very strong. They're going to be lining up near each other quite a bit. And if he had 82 strength but 90-90 pass block, run block, then I'd say, okay, he's well in balance. But he's really good at run blocking, but the other two things, not as great. And that's at a 90. Now, he is power up, so that's the one thing I do like about him. But as we look at a guy like Travis Frederick, and I know his cost is wrong, before I was showing you, like Lamar Miller, how much value you get by picking them or not picking them, like they're worth 140K, essentially, right? Travis Frederick is the best center in Madden that you're going to find. So if you want an end game item and you think, oh, well, Jason Kelce's power upable, I'm going to run him the whole year, like that's going to be my guy, you're not going to ever have the best center in the game because, in my opinion, Travis Frederick at a 91 versus Kelce at 89, he's already much stronger and he's much more balanced in his pass block and run block. So you get a much better all-around player. And Frederick, who at a similar overall, he's better. So, and I know he has power up. So I would try and go with Frederick and pass on Kelce. And that might seem weird because a lot of people really liked him at first, Kelce, but I would go with Frederick and I know it's 500K Farls, a difference. That's a lot of coins. There's nothing wrong with Jason Kelce. Very good item. You could play in your lineup if you need a center, but don't just pick him because he has power up. And because if you're not a rookie level team, if you're not a no money spent team, and you're an advanced team is trying to go end game, you're never going to have an end game item in Kelce, in my opinion, because you've got a better guy out there. So that's my thought. Now, Roger Saffold is another option here. He's a left guard, but he's only got 81 strength. Now, he's more balanced in his pass block and run block than Kelce was, who was more of a run block player. But at 81 strength at left guard, I mean, that just seems a little weak. He currently does not have a power-up, so I would pass on a left guard. I mean, I'm still sticking with Quentin Nelson at this point. A comparable player is like this Steve Hutchinson, so 84K. So if you take the Saffold, you're only getting a player who's comparable to like 84K. You're not getting 130K Barry Sanders. You're not getting 130K Lawrence Taylor. You'd only be getting like a 66,000 coin Larry Allen, who's even much stronger. So I'll go get Larry Allen. So I'd pass on Saffold, if that makes sense. Now, Steeltown just made a good point that you do get 800 training points for Gauntlet players. So even if you don't need them and you're just going to quick sell them and use your 800 quick sell on Telvin Smith, Master. To get to the Master, you need the campaign guy. You probably don't have that campaign guy. So that's 800 just for that one spot. You could use him to turn your Telvin Smith and get him ready to become the Master in your set. That's one thing you could do with these items. You can also exchange them. So if you use them and you don't like them, you can always exchange them out if they're not playing up to your level. The last guy we want to talk about is Cameron Heyward, who I've always been a huge proponent of. And as I look at Cameron Heyward, same thing. Strength is 87, block shed's 88, power move's 92. When I sort by power move, at the end position, Steven Tuitt shows up, who I've always been a big proponent of, at 87, 87, 93. So a very similar player. You're getting 187,000 coin player. You could also get Ryan Kerrigan, who doesn't quite have the strength of block shed, but plays a different position. So you can do a little bit more, but isn't quite there at that cost of a team diamond. So you're getting 187K player in Cameron Heyward if you had to buy Steven Tuitt. Whereas before with the two linemen, you're not getting as much value back. So that's another way you could think about this. Hopefully that helps shape up your options on the positions. You can always quick sell them. Do you have a halfback? It's really on a thing of need, and then it is, are you building a no money spend team where you just need the best like balance guy for the job, or are you trying to go end game with your options? That is my breakdown of the Gauntlet players. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. We're talking right now.